said that today there is so much of awareness amongst our soldiers that they do get affected. And that is what I would like all the netas, whichever party that they belong to, and the good citizens, they must not create these kind of situations which can affect the morale of our jawans.
General Malik, those are very, very valuable words. And I really am grateful that it comes from someone like you. You are a wartime general, someone with very, very strong views about such things. And I know you don't like talking about politics, but that's specifically the reason why I invited you, because I knew you would have something very valuable to share tonight. And so I thank you once again for this brief conversation, which I hope will be viewed by millions, because it is so meaningful to netas, to the forge, and to our citizenry who must hear these words and understand where we stand today. Thank you, General, for being with me.
Thank you, Sheikh. Thank you.
And remember that the politics over language will continue. Our soldiers, our sailors, our air warriors will continue to defend the country. But what you've just heard from a former chief of the army staff, one who led the army in one of its big victories in the Kargil war in 1999, has just said that soldiers, sailors and air warriors, many of them very, very young, have mobile phones, they've got TVs, they've got laptops, they watch the news, they keep in touch, they are in tune with what's happening in the politics of this country. So imagine what they feel and be a citizen worth dying for. Thanks for watching India Matters.
Hello everyone, you're watching The Last Word and I'm Maria Shakil. First up on the show will be a shocking bridge collapse in Gujarat's Vadodara, which has claimed 13 lives. Where is the accountability is the question that I ask on the show tonight. Next up will be the battle for Bihar, which has now hit the streets of Patna and across the state, where the India bloc's parties actually held protest over the voter list revision. Is the exercise legitimate or is it hurried? And what is the Election Commission of India saying? We'll get an answer to that in just a bit. And at 1:30, another shameful episode in the VIP Thugs series. A Shinde Sena MLA has now beaten up a canteen staff over stale dal. Will the state slap law on these goons is what I ask. In less than a month, India has witnessed 2 deadly bridge tragedies. I would ask the producer to put those visuals right here on your television screens. One in Vadodara, the other in Pune, raising urgent questions about our crumbling infrastructure and the systemic negligence that enables it. In Gujarat, 13 people lost their lives when a 40-year-old bridge connecting Vadodara and Anand gave way. The mishap happened during the morning rush hour and at least 6 vehicles fell into the river as one of the bridge's 23 pillars. There are 23 pillars of that one collapsed, bringing down a section of it. You can see that image. Scary visuals from the side showed a truck precariously dangling on the edge. The bridge wasn't just old, it was crying out for repairs. Locals had been raising alarms, submitting requests for renovation as well. Only now, when lives have been lost, has the government scrambled to order a probe. But who is being probed, and more importantly, who will be held accountable? Just weeks earlier, on June 16th, Pune witnessed a similar horror. A 32-year-old iron pedestrian bridge located at a popular tourist spot collapsed. 4 lives were lost. That bridge too had been officially declared unsafe, and yet tourists were allowed to crowd it. Why? Was there no mechanism to barricade it, warn the public, or stop footfall altogether? Why did known danger translate into no action? And if you thought it was just bridges, think again. In Rajasthan's Jhunjhunu district, a newly constructed state highway was washed away by a strong current. The road had been built just 6 months ago. Are we now at a point where even fresh infrastructure can't withstand a single season of rain? Let's look at the larger pattern. And according to government data, 42 bridges collapsed in India between 2019 and 2024. And if you extend that window to include under construction structures, the number is even more chilling. 21 operational bridges and 6 still under construction collapsed since 2012. Remember Mizoram, August 2023? An under construction railway bridge collapsed, killing 26 workers. Gujarat, again, Morbi, October 2023. Right here, the number of deaths. You can see about Mumbai, 2019, CSMT footbridge collapse. Varanasi, Kolkata, 2016, Vivekanand flyover collapse. Year after year, the stories repeat, but does the accountability? Bihar, my home state, has had its moment of reckoning. 12 bridges in Bihar have collapsed in just 17 days in 2024. Nitish Kumar promised a new maintenance policy. A panel was set up and officials were suspended, only to be brought back later, as the Supreme Court noted with dismay this April. What does this revolving door of action actually say about our seriousness in fixing the problem? So tonight we ask, who builds these bridges, who inspects them, who signs off on their safety, and who is punished when they fall? Is it just time and weather that erode concrete and steel, or is it more than that? Is it about neglect that is eating away our public infrastructure? Joining me first on the show is Chaitanya Singh Zala, who is the BJP MP from Padra in Vadodara. Zala साहब, ये घटना आपके क्षेत्र में हुई है, अभी आप ग्राउंड पर हैं, क्या सिचुएशन है वहाँ?
जी, अभी मैं वहीं पे हूँ और यहाँ रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल रहा है। सभी लोग यहाँ पर, फायर की टीम है, एनडीआरएफ की टीम है, पूरा वहीवटी तंत्र इधर लगा हुआ है।
इस दुर्घटना के बाद बहुत सारे सवाल उठ रहे हैं। ब्रिज जो गिरी है तो इंक्वायरी का मैटर है, लेकिन आप वहां पर अभी लोकेशन पे मौजूद हैं, आपके हिसाब से कौन जिम्मेदार है?
जी, अभी तो ये ब्रिज नया मंजूर भी हो गया था और उसकी टेंडर की प्रोसीजर सब चल रहा था और अभी तो इंक्वायरी होगी। इंक्वायरी के बाद ही जो भी जिम्मेवार है उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
ये ब्रिज कितना पुराना था? ये भी कहा जा रहा है कि 1986 में शायद ये बनाया गया था।
नहीं, 1986 में बना हुआ था ये ब्रिज।
अच्छा,
1986 में नया बना था और अभी इतने सालों के बाद नया बनने का जो भी था डिमांड हमने ऑनरेबल सीएम के पास रख दिया था, तो उन्होंने ये ब्रिज मंजूर भी कर दिया है।
लेकिन अगर नए ब्रिज का अप्रूवल आ चुका था तो ये पुराना ब्रिज क्या उसको बंद नहीं किया जा सकता था ताकि ये घटना नहीं घटती? शायद
इसके जो भी इसके ऊपर काम करना था वो पिछले साल ही इसका रिपेयरिंग काम करवा दिया गया था और उसके बाद काम पूरा होने के बाद स्टेबिलिटी चेक करके ही इसको ट्रैफिक के लिए खोला गया था।
इस दुर्घटना में कितने लोग मारे गए हैं और कितने घायल हैं? आप सिचुएशन बता सकते हैं हमें?
अभी तो 10 डेड बॉडी निकाल दी गई है और 5 लोगों को जिंदा निकाला है। वो अभी सारवार उनकी चल रही है और आगे का अभी ऑपरेशन चालू है।
चैतन्य सिंह ज़ाला, थैंक यू हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। लेट मी ब्रिंग इन डॉक्टर सुधीर कृष्णा, हु इज़ द फॉर्मर सेक्रेटरी, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ अर्बन डेवलपमेंट, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया। Dr. Krishna, the question certainly is, who does regular inspection of bridges which are very, very old? And do these bridges witness these inspections on a regular basis?
Good evening, Maria ji, and I should say that this bridge is not too old. and I don't know why it is being proposed for replacement, because as per the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, which they have issued from time to time, the recent circular is of 2016 September, which has clearly said that bridge life is 100 years. So a bridge cannot be, we cannot go on making bridges after 20, 30, 40 years, new bridges after. And so the issue is that maintenance. A bridge has to be maintained, and bridge is a very delicate thing. It is static yet dynamic. It is static because it doesn't move, and dynamic because things move on it. It faces the breeze, it faces the movement of traffic, and it faces the movement of currents when it is built over a river. So therefore, it is subject to wear and tear, and proper maintenance is required. And the very big challenge is there. We are adding infrastructure in a very big way. And we are also claiming rightfully that we have added so much of infrastructure in terms of railway line, in terms of highways, in terms of bridges and ports. And so it's a wonderful thing, no doubt. But are we discussing about the maintenance? You see, the number of staff required for maintenance activities is far more than the number of staff required for construction activities. Construction is a one-time activity, but maintenance is a lifelong activity. So in all these states, it is a problem. But unfortunately, we are not waking up. It is unfortunate. You see, we have to mobilize manpower. We have to give them proper training, and we have to provide enough funds for maintenance of our assets. Bridges become more visible because the damage is very harsh and very very visible in a glaring manner. If a road caves in, you don't feel that much startled because the vision is not that startling, but bridge is more startling. But all infrastructure are supposed to are subject to wear and tear. And I should also inform you and the viewers that as per the IRC, Indian Road Congress report, there are more than 5 lakh bridges in the country, and around 25% of the bridges are having some kind of fatigue or the other, which means they need serious repairs.
Okay.
So more than a lakh number of bridges requiring repairs. It's a massive question, it's a very big question. It requires a lot of attention and also money also, of course. So we are in a very critical situation. And lastly, I would say that when talk of bridge life, you recall the Pamban Bridge, which recently we had a new bridge in Rameshwaram. At that time, we did not acclaim that this bridge was made, original bridge was made in 1914. And it lasted 150 years, 140 years, very well. More than 100 years it lasted, not 140 years, but 110 years it lasted very well. Cyclone, it withstood cyclone. 2.5 kilometer long bridge, had railway movement on it without any trouble. Howrah Bridge, 1943, and now it is 80-year-old.
Okay, now tell me, if you're looking at these bridges, which are several decades old, then what does it really mean in terms of who inspects them, who signs off on their safety?
Absolutely. So the thing is, there are two situations. One is the construction supervision at construction time, and second is the maintenance time. So there is a serious challenge here. The Bihar one you said, and most unfortunately, these things are just being, it coming like a serial show, it comes and goes, one accident and after some time another accident, and just like that. It's very unfortunate. Now high time it is there to identify, you see, because the construction of a bridge requires a lot of manpower, dedicated manpower. Now workload is increasing like anything. So much of work is coming up, under different programs. Multiple activities, multiple projects are coming up for construction, but staff is not there. The staff is not there to supervise the construction work. So construction is also not of good quality. It is more of a show business often, that you are hurried to construct and launch it and show in the media that something has happened. No, that is not the way it has to be done. The bridge requires very serious attention. At every stage, supervision is required. From the foundation to pier laying of the piers, on that you lay the beams, and on that you lay the superstructure, ultimately the parapet, connectivity. Everything requires serious supervision. There are manuals
So let's look at the solution then here, Dr. Krishna. As someone, let's try and, because we understand the seriousness of the problem, but how do you fix this problem then?
Yes, so the solution is that staff has to be increased. We have to make a study of what is the staff requirement for construction work. Simply by awarding contracts, it doesn't work out, because the contract has to be supervised also. You cannot just assign the work to a contractor and think, and he will do something, and good or bad. And of course, the third party inspection is also there, no doubt. But still, the department cannot remain a bystander Today, most of the departments are becoming bystanders in the construction activity, primarily because of lack of staff. So we have to have staff, and of course they have to be trained. That is on one side, and that is a primary thing. And thereafter, maintenance activities also require staff, but funds also. So we have to take stock of the infrastructure maintenance activity, bridge being the prime mover, because of the visibility and the damage they cause is far more than a damage of a road, caving in. The bridge collapse is far more damaging. So therefore, we have to have more staff, more money for maintenance, and a vision plan also, vision for maintenance of infrastructure. We have a vision for adding of infrastructure, but we don't have a vision for maintenance of infrastructure, and that is leading to a serious situation time and again. So I think this is a very good thing that you have raised this question on this forum, and I'm sure this will lead to a proper awareness about the challenges. The solution also I have mentioned is very much doable. It is not impossible. When 100-year-old bridge can survive, Yemen cannot survive. Construction is still.
So that's a valid point. If a 100-year-old bridge can survive, then so can 40-year-old bridge. The only thing that is needed here is proper maintenance. So thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, former Secretary, Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India. Shifting focus to another story now, and this is coming in from Bihar. Remember, tomorrow there is a crucial hearing in the Supreme Court. Today, the Mahagathbandhan parties of Bihar held a statewide protest. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi and RJD's Tejasvi Yadav led a rally against the Election Commission of India's special intensive revision exercise ahead of the Bihar elections. The elections in Bihar are scheduled for some time in end of October and beginning of November. This was Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's 7th visit to Bihar in the last 5 months. The parties have alleged that the Election Commission of India's vote list revision process is biased and anti-people. The Grand Alliance is actually saying that this entire process could deprive migrants, Dalits, Mahadalits and poor voters of their rights. They have called the ECI's move a conspiracy to block votes ahead of the Bihar elections. Remember, the ECI began this entire exercise, which is called SIR, or Special Intensive Revision in Bihar, on June 24th, and has made it mandatory for voters to fill out forms and submit any of the 11 specified documents as identity proof. Today, the Election Commission also said that nearly 60% of the special intensive revision exercise is complete, adding that it is aiming to complete the remaining 40% in the next 16 days. First up, let's listen in to what various leaders from Rahul Gandhi to Tejasvi and also Ravi Shankar Prasad, who's a member of parliament of the BJP, have to say, and then I bring in the guests.
जिन कंस्टिट्यूएंसीज में वोटर बढ़े वहां पर बीजेपी जीती। सारे के सारे वोट जो नए वोट आए वो सारे के सारे बीजेपी को गए। आज तक महाराष्ट्र की वोटर लिस्ट हमें नहीं मिली। वीडियोग्राफी का कानून बदल दिया क्योंकि वो सच्चाई छुपाना चाहते हैं। महाराष्ट्र का चुनाव चोरी किया गया था और जैसे महाराष्ट्र का चुनाव चोरी किया गया था वैसे ही बिहार का चुनाव चोरी करने की कोशिश की जा रही है। इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बीजेपी और आरएसएस जैसे बात कर रहे हैं, वो भूल गए हैं कि वो किसी राजनीतिक पार्टी के नहीं है।
पूरे बिहार के लोगों में नाराजगी है इलेक्शन कमीशन को लेके। खास तौर पे इलेक्शन कमीशन जो है अब एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का प्रकोष्ठ बन करके रह गया है। उसके इशारे पे ही सारा फैसला निर्णय जो है लिया जाता है। तो कोई भी सवाल का जवाब जो है इलेक्शन कमीशन ने हम लोगों को दिया नहीं, ना एक बार भी आके प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके सभी चीज़ों को जो है स्पष्ट किया। 2 गुजरात के लोग तय करेंगे कौन बिहारी वोटर वोट देगा कौन नहीं देगा।
सच्चाई नहीं है क्या कि बहुत बार चाहे वो रोहिंग्या हो कोई और हो, वो गलत तरीके से वोटर लिस्ट में अपना नाम घुसवा लेते हैं। तो अगर ईमानदारी से काम हो रहा है तो परेशानी क्या है आपको? संकेत यही है कि जो भी गलत तरीके से वोटर बन गया उसके कंधों पर ये अपनी सियासत करना चाहते हैं। दिस होल अप्रोच ऑफ द अपोजिशन पार्टी गिव्स राइज टू सीरियस क्वेश्चंस। You file cases in Supreme Court, MPs file, your supporters file, you get the case mentioned. I understand tomorrow the case is going to be heard, and today you are on the streets. Is it some kind of a pressure being sought to be created?
Tuhin Sinha is the national spokesperson of the BJP. We have Parimal Kumar representing the JDU. Dr. Anshul Avijit is the national spokesperson of the Congress, and Professor Anwar Pasha is the national spokesperson of the RJD. Tuhin Sinha, I'm going to begin with you. Why, this entire exercise, if the people of Bihar are saying that this seems to be a little unreasonable at this point, then why is the BJP defending it? Let the Election Commission do its part. You are also should be speaking on the behalf of the voters of Bihar rather than on the behalf of Election Commission.
Good evening, Maria. Good evening, everybody. In the first 15 days of the SIR exercise, more than 57% forms, enumeration forms have been collected. There are another 16 days left. So I don't know which Biharis are complaining. If you are privy to some Biharis complaining, please play that out.
Stories are coming out. I know people who have traveled now miles to go to Bihar to complete this verification process. So what are you actually saying, Mr. Sinha?
Those concerns are being addressed on an everyday basis. Fact is, the entire premise of opposition politics seems to be what if, but then, this hypothesis needs to end. SIR is a very crucial exercise in determining the genuine voters. Only 2.8% of the total 2.8 crore of the 8 crore voters have to submit fresh forms, and that is because from 2003 onwards, this exercise had not been undertaken. And why is it being undertaken? Because some, preliminary anomalies were anyway detected. In the region of Simanchal, there are at least 3 districts, which includes Araria and Katihar, where more number of Aadhaar cards are prevalent than the actual number of people residing in that area. So all of these necessitate a revision. But having said that, why are we
So are you saying that the elections which were held in 2024 Lok Sabha polls in the month of May, all this anomaly was not fixed? And why wasn't it fixed?
No, it's an ongoing process, and SIR was not done. But obviously, the employees at the local level of Election Commission always do the basic checks. But if certain anomalies were detected, which called for a bigger SIR, then what is the harm in it? Why is the opposition assuming that, it is their voters which will get cut out from the system?
Dr. Anshul Avijit, why is there an assumption here that it will be only your voters who will be at the receiving end? Because if you look at it, if it is about the Mahadalits, the Dalits or the minorities, they are also the voters of JDU. And Jitan Ram Manjhi is part of the NDA. Chirag Paswan, who gets the votes of the Dalits, is part of the NDA.
You forget about the voters, Maria, for one single minute. I'm in Patna at the moment. I was a part of those protests that went on. Everyone in Bihar, in fact, this country who cares about the democratic process, this is a fundamental compact between the citizen and the state that they should be mediated through democracy and free and fair elections. Everyone is completely outraged. A couple of months before the election is supposed to take place, you undertake an exercise in 25 days with 8 crore people, which require 1 lakh BLOs. I mean, is this possible? What level of efficiency are we expecting from the Election Commission? And secondly, the Election Commission is always under the shadow of doubt and conspiracy. Why is that? Why is it always controversial since this government has to come to power that the Election Commission makes controversial decisions before on the eve of an election? You rightly said that what happened last year when the elections took place, is that a scam? Is that a fraud that went on with us? Why don't they scrap that election? If the numbers in that election, if the legitimacy of the voters in that election was incorrect, as they claim with this hurriedly done exercise, then why was that election a done deal? Why that should be called off? It's a complete scam, and we are not even talking about the impossible conditions that have been put for the voters to show their citizenship. Bihar is being put on trial, their loyalty is being tested. Bihar is at the moment on edge, and this is being done because of the elections. They've had a survey done. It's the executive, it's the government, it's the BJP government, it's the NDA. They've had a survey done. They were losing this election and they had to find various ways of making sure they won. There's no stench of a conspiracy here. There is a conspiracy. And the strange thing about this, Maria, is that in Maharashtra and all, with the voter surge and the remarkable
you have not been able to prove that voter surge in Maharashtra. So let's accept certain things which the opposition is also getting wrong. You have not been able to prove that. Every time Election Commission has asked to submit evidence, you have not done that. You have not done that, Dr. Anshul Avijit.
No, what do you want us to do? How do you want us to prove it? The numbers are highly suspicious. The Election Commission is in a cloud of suspicion. We know from now on, in the last 10 years, that every department or every institution now works in the behest of this government.
The proof is all out there. A quick response, then I bring in others. Go ahead.
Absolutely outside.
Unfortunate.
Yes.
My learned friend Anshul is factually incorrect on 2 counts. Only 2.8 crore voters have to produce these fresh documents, not 8 crore as he mentioned. And last
even
time
that is a huge number.
Last time, the Election Commission, you need to trust the Election Commission. If the Election Commission says it has
2
enough
crore
bandwidth
voters is a
enough
huge number, Tuhin.
So last time also it was carried out in 3 weeks. This time with the help of technology, if it doesn't get carried out, my point is, why
it was not
are
carried
you
out
jumping
just
the gun?
months ahead of elections when it happened in 2003, Tuhin. That is the reason why the entire process is being questioned, because it is not appearing to be transparent.
Even for your criticism to be more credible, I think you should wait for the next 16 days and then point out the failures of the Election Commission. If you are convinced the Election Commission is failing, why
we don't trust this exercise? It cannot be done in the amount. And by the way, that 2.3 years, which is based on 2003, is not correct.
My sense is probably
there are 5
not a single.
Voters
please don't speak in between, Anshul. There's an important point I'm making. I did not intrude when you were speaking. My sense is that probably not a single person would be disenfranchised. But having said that, this exercise was important to know the anomalies which have been existing in border areas, in areas which are prone to illegal migration. And I think nobody should have a problem with knowing the truth.
Parimal Kumar. Among the JDU workers are also the minorities, the Mahadalits, the extreme backward castes. Are you not worried about this entire exercise, which could make it very difficult for these, sections of Bihari population to submit the documents first? Second, in a state which is flood prone, particularly the entire belt along the Kosi River, how will people submit these documents when the Aadhaar is not an acceptable form, neither is the ration card, which enables people to benefit from all the subsidies that the government of India provides and government of Bihar provides?
We have no any problem. We support the constitution and constitutional decision like Election Commission. Actually, Mahagathbandhan is afraid of the increasing popularity of my leader. They are afraid about their defeat in the incoming election. As far as the question of a special intensive survey is concerned, you see they are giving the example of 2003. In 2003, 45,000 BLO were implied and the entire exercise was finished within 31 days. Right? Actually, yet in Bihar, yet the date of election has not been announced. What is the reason to put the question mark before the constitutional institution? You see, to prepare the election law and to revise all these are the constitutional responsibility of Election Commission as per Article 326 of the Constitution, 324 of the Constitution, and People's Representation Act 1950, and registration of voters rules particularly 1959 and 60. Actually, there is no any particular problem. Actually, who should be given the right to cast the vote? It is the citizen of India. If Election Commission is certifying the actual voter, what is the problem with them? Actually, RJD and Congress are habitually indulge in maligning such type of constitutional institution when they are put behind bars on the order of the Supreme Court. They start allegations that they were intentionally, particularly aligned with all these. Actually, in Bihar, there is no problem. as far as the question of the total number of voters is concerned, you see, Election Commission already clarified that those persons who were included in 2003 will be intact, and the review and 2.97, I think, around this particular number, actually revision will be conducted. So, if some person died, some person shifted, the girls get married and shift from one place to another, then actual voter, their duplication is also the problem in such type of particular cases. Then Election Commission conduct the regular exercise, and 3 months before, 3 to 4 months before, Election Commission conducted casual revision. And now it is conducted a special intensive revision. It is not extensive one. Okay, if extensive revision would have been conducted, then it required a long time. But intensive, I think intensive revision not require such a long period. And we have already, Election Commission already conducted such type of revision. So actually the entire process, whatever you see, today's strike clarified that Mahagathbandhan has no faith in the judiciary when already the matter is sub judice, and tomorrow on 10th of July, the date has already been fixed for hearing by the Supreme Court.
No. The entire argument seems to be that this exercise is a fair exercise. It's not that it's no. Dr. Anshul Avijit, no. The problem here is, Mr. Parimal Kumar, that there is an assumption that those who are not able to submit documents or whose documents may not be with them, they may be having the Aadhaar card or the or other documents, including the ration cards, are from other political parties. Are you familiar, sir?
No.
I am surprised.
Election Commission already clarified. If you are not in the position to submit the document, you simply fill the form, and the matter will be dealt with after. Actually, you know that, but every citizen has the right.
Okay, there is a problem with that audio. I'll try and fix that. Professor Anwar Pasha, come in now.
Actually,
your audio is coming from a distance, sir. There is a problem with that audio. I'll get that fixed. Professor Pasha.
Thank you, Maria Shakil-ji. First of all, I would like to congratulate the people of Bihar for making this one a grand success. And it shows the mood of the people of the state. That's why the BJP is desperate, and NDA is desperate. BJP as well as the JDU is also very desperate. I was listening to Mr. Tohin Sinha, and I was wondering, he is the spokesperson of BJP or the spokesperson of Election Commission? And it makes it clear that there is no difference. The Election Commission has become just a cell of BJP, and it's working at the behest of BJP. Everything was going fine. There was a revision in December only. The last December, there was a revision. And one fine morning, without consulting the opposition parties, the Election Commission comes with the idea and announces that let's have a special intensive
constitutional responsibility of the Election Commission.
What is?
I don't think that there is any requirement to conduct all party meetings.
He was patiently looking, waiting for his submission time to come. You should extend that courtesy to Professor Pasha, please.
Let me complete.
Yeah.
One fine morning, all of a sudden, the Election Commission feels that let's have a intensive, special intensive revision. What is this? In December, it was carried out. And it was also carried out before the parliamentary election.
Why you are
What is the need of this intensive, special intensive revision? Why this revision? Why it was not held? If the list was bogus, if the voter list was bogus in Bihar, then why the parliamentary election was carried out? Why it was not taken out? Why the revision was not taken out that time? Why then the bogus? The list was bogus. This elected government, the central government is bogus. Let the central government and the Modi ji resign first. And then let's have we are not opposed to any revision. Even we are not opposed to intensive revision also. But let the central government resign, and let's go for a intensive this revision in the whole country. And then let's have
that's again an exaggeration. Professor Pasha,
Our
the case
concern,
is coming up
Shakil ji,
tomorrow.
our
You have
concern
a
is
case,
that
try and build
this
that
is
to
an
say that
attack,
central government must resign only because there is an exercise of intensive revision happening in Bihar is also an exaggerated position.
No, not exaggerated. We are well aware that there is a I think a plan. There is a plan behind it. It's well planned.
What is the plan?
And they want to deprive the
what is
poor
the conspiracy?
people. They want to take away the democratic right of voting from the poor people. Poor people are going to be affected. Our party is a party of poor people.
Okay.
BJP is a party of rich people.
So
they are happy.
The purpose of universal adult franchise is getting defeated in this entire exercise is becoming increasingly clear. There seems to be some disconnect also. One moment, Tuhin Sinha, let me finish my question. There seems to be also some disconnect between what the sentiments are and what you are saying, because I know, personally know, because I'm also from the same state, where people are traveling from different parts of the country to Bihar, to Patna and other parts to finish this exercise.
Any rectification, any revision carries some hardships. It is the job of Election Commission to ensure that that is absolutely smooth, that is absolutely seamless. But the point is, if there are certain anomalies which have been detected and which for whatever reason have not been rectified so far, will you allow them to go on for the next 10 years? I think any revision should be supported. And like I said, why are we jumping the gun? Wait for the next 15 days. My sense is that, the Election Commission will not disenfranchise anybody, but to know the truth, to be transparent.
The timing of this revision. The Election Commission is why
RJD is particularly rattled because, it seems they have been distributing 3 voter IDs, 3 Aadhaar cards among certain people, among certain preferred voters of theirs. There is no other reason.
All right, Professor Pasha, Chancellor Vijit and Parimal. Kumar, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this exercise has been challenged by the opposition parties and the Supreme Court will be taking this issue up tomorrow. Is what we know. We are slipping into a short break. Coming up would be all details from this developing story, which is about the slap incident which has happened. It's an MLA of the Shinde faction which has slapped a canteen wala. The reason we'll tell you after a short break.
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. Installation से maintenance की lifelong customer service. आपके घर में Fenesta नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Find Finer Fenesta.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Well, the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves and Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edapadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players and this is going to be the ultimate test.
A 36-hour non-stop flight by a small pack of B2s.
Welcome back. Sanjay Gaikwad, an MLA of the Eknath Shinde-led Shiv Sena, has made headlines after a video of him assaulting a staff member of the MLA canteen in Mumbai went viral. The MLA from Buldana slapped and punched the canteen staffer, whose name is Yogesh Kutram. The lawmaker later told NDTV that he does not regret what he did and that his earlier complaints about the food quality fell on deaf ears. The viral video in fact came up in the Maharashtra Council today, and responding to the opposition's questions, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis said that such conduct by an MLA undermines the House's decorum and urged the chair to take necessary action against the MLA, who is from the ruling alliance. Here's a report and then I bring in the guests.
another VIP thug caught doing what they do and think can get away. A ruling party MLA, Sanjay Gaikwad, caught on camera slapping, punching and kicking a server at the Amdar Nivas, all allegedly over being served stale dal. This is not an isolated incident, but another in the long list of shameful behavior by political leaders of all colors and hue. There was the MNS worker beating shopkeeper in Thane, UBT MP slapping a shopkeeper, MNS leader's son drunk and naked abusing a woman, and the MNS workers breaking a toll plaza. Now, this MLA in arrogance of power beating a worker at canteen. And just like other VIP thugs, he brags and remains remorseless.
मैं विधायक भी हूँ और मैं योद्धा भी हूँ। जब सब भाषा में समझाने के बाद में कोई समझता नहीं है तो बाला साहब ठाकरे जी ने हमको भाषा सिखाई भी है, जिसका इस्तेमाल मैंने किया है। मुझे कोई मलाल नहीं है, मुझे कोई ये विषय में ऐसा महसूस नहीं होता है कि मैंने कोई गलत किया है।
Leaders from the opposition have strongly condemned this incident, urging the government to act against its own MLA.
इसके ऊपर एक्शन होना चाहिए। ऐसे गरीबों को मारने का अधिकार नहीं है किसी को। सरकार ने एक्शन लेना चाहिए। कानून हाथ में किसी को लेने का अधिकार नहीं है। कानून सबके लिए समान होता है।
एथिक्स नाम की कोई चीज़ होती है। एमएलए ने कैसा रहना चाहिए, कैसा बिहेव करना चाहिए। आज जिस तरह से दादागिरी चल रही है, जिस तरह से मार रहे हैं, इस तरह की दादागिरी ये मुख्यमंत्री सहेंगे क्या? अब देखना है मुख्यमंत्री क्या कार्रवाई करे।
Surprisingly, some in the ruling alliance seemed more concerned about the quality of the food than the violence in itself.
जानकारी दी, आमदार निवास में बहुत ही घटिया दर्जे का खाना दिया गया। बार-बार विधायक जी ने उस कैंटीन के ओनर को, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को बार-बार बताया। उसके बाद भी शायद उसने अपने रवैये को सुधारा नहीं। तो शायद कभी-कभी उसकी वजह से विधायक जी ने जो गुस्सा है, वो गुस्सा ऐसे तरीके से उसने व्यक्त किया होगा, ऐसा मुझे लगता, मुझे पूरी जानकारी नहीं है।
Sustained NDTV campaign has once again forced the top leaders in the government to react.
यातनं सगळ्या आमदारांबद्दल लोकांमध्ये भावना चुकीची जाते। आपण कुठेतरी सत्तेचा गैरवापर करतो किंवा आपण सगळे आमदार म्हणून आपलं कंडक्ट योग्य नाही, अशा प्रकारचं लोकांमध्ये या संदर्भातली भावना जाते। आणि म्हणून निश्चितपणे मला असं वाटतं की अतिशय गंभीर बाब आहे। आपण आणि माननीय अध्यक्ष या दोघांनी याचा कॉग्निझन्स घ्यावा आणि या संदर्भात काय पुढील कारवाई करायची ते आपण करावी।
After the chief minister, it was the deputy chief minister and MLA Gaikwad's boss, Eknath Shinde, who condemned his behavior.
ओमिटिंग हो गया और इसलिए उन्होंने गुस्से में आकर वो मारपीट की है, उसका मैं समर्थन नहीं करूंगा। अगर जिधर गलत होता है उसके ऊपर कानूनी कार्रवाई हो सकती है, लेकिन मारपीट करना ये उचित नहीं है।
While there has been no action against this MLA yet, the administration was quick to dispatch an FDA team to investigate the food complaint. Yet another act of a politician, this time a lawmaker, abusing his power at the expense of a common man. The government has condemned the act, of course, but the question remains on whether it will walk the talk and hold its own accountable. With camera person Mahesh Halwai and with inputs from Radhika Ramaswamy and Abhishek Avasti, this is Anuj Raide reporting for NDTV from Mumbai.
And joining me now is Deepak Kesarkar, who is a senior leader of the Shiva Sena and former cabinet minister of Maharashtra. Mr. Kesarkar, I appreciate your time. This hooliganism or high-handedness seems to be spreading across parties, sir.
It is true, but it cannot be compared with what is happening on the streets. Actually, he lost his control, which is bad. As a MLA, he is a responsible person. But within the premises of the assembly, it is the speaker's authority to give a punishment. So his explanation would be called for, and I'm sure the Speaker of the Assembly will take appropriate action.
But Mr. Kesarkar, there seems to be some kind of sense among the lawmakers and in general politicians in Maharashtra that they can get away with high-handedness. That there is no accountability when it comes to them, because if you look at it, MNS has justified the actions of its party workers, so has Uddhav Thackeray Sena leaders.
We have never did this. There was previously one incident when MLA from Vasai Virar had beaten some of the officers. Their action was taken against him. Although he is a member of our party, the law will take its own course. The Speaker will investigate in the matter, and he will take a necessary action. And I'm sure that he will also issue guidelines to the MLAs regarding their behavior within the premises of assembly. This incident has, of course, happened in MLA hostel. So I'm not really aware whether this will be handled by the Speaker of the Assembly or not. But he is the ultimate authority about all the MLAs.
Yes.
And I'm sure he will give proper
But Mr. Kesarkar, you know, what is becoming evident, and I asked that question to you earlier as well, of certain degree of that confidence, or should I say overconfidence, that they can get away by showing this kind of high-handedness. Of course, the other one, which is playing out on the streets, was about Marathi versus non-Marathi. Now, this is slapping a worker in a canteen, and then Sanjay Gaikwad says that he has no regret.
You will have to understand one thing, that you must have heard Sudhir Mungattiwarji speaking about this. He is a very senior MLA and member of our house. So number of times he himself has given complaints, but no cognizance was taken. But if no cognizance is taken, there is a committee who looks after MLA hostels. So naturally, they should have approached that committee. Instead, taking law in your own hand is a wrong thing, and nobody has supported this. So you cannot compare this with what is happening on the streets. What is happening on the streets is altogether different. He lost the control. Whatever he has done is wrong. We condemn that. But at the same time, we feel that if some improvement is to be happen in the food services, that will also simultaneously go ahead. So this is not that the Speaker has not taken action against the MLA.
All right.
They take the action. If you remember, there was an incident in Air India flight, and that MP was barred from traveling in any of those flights. So similar punishment are given, and it is example that number of times proper action is taken. Here also action would be taken, because Maharashtra is a very cultured state. Such things never happen. I think the last incidents we realized was somewhere around 7 to 8 years back, if I remember properly. So within 8 years, there was no such incidents. But this is very unfortunate, and we regret it.
All right, Deepak Kesarkar, I appreciate your time. Rohit Chandravarkar, a quick word from you. You know, it's incident a day. We continue to put the spotlight on Maharashtra. Extremely shameful conduct of MLAs, of MNS workers, one after the other, and that sheer brazenness which you know, they justify their own actions.
I'm absolutely appalled. I mean, what else can anybody say? You know, there are standard replies that are coming. We'll look into the incident. Law will take its own course. That is standard, and that's happened so many times. But the next thing we saw from somebody like Mungantiwar, very senior MLA, was that, you know, he justified this, saying that the food is bad. Remember, these MLAs are supposed to execute development projects all over Maharashtra. They are lawmakers. They're supposed to create new laws. They are the final authority in everything. and over some food issue, they have to resort to this kind of violence. So what kind of signal are they giving? I'm just shocked that, in a state like Maharashtra, which we discussed earlier also, a very progressive, modern, industrialized state, we have this kind of medieval thing that we are watching. These visuals are really shocking. Maria, one thing I want to point out is, these series of incidents that are happening in Maharashtra now, whether it is Raj Thakre's men slapping somebody repeatedly or today's incident, this is getting exposed because of modern technology, social media, and everybody having a mobile camera in their hands. And these MLAs and these politicians simply are not waking up to the reality that this is the modern world where everything they do may be caught on camera and they might land in trouble. They are so confident, like you mentioned, they are so confident that nothing will happen in terms of legal action. But at least, all these things getting caught on a mobile camera and this becoming a national issue is something great. And I'm just glad that you have taken up this issue. Raj Thakre, just a couple of days ago, at a rally, told all his supporters that, they perhaps they can go to some extent, but don't record it on video. So, these people need to wake up. I mean, is this some kind of tribalism or what? I mean, these visuals are really, I'm really taken aback in a plush South Mumbai, Nariman Point area, where the Vidhan Bhavan is, India's priciest real estate zone. And, next to that, very close to that Vidhan Bhavan, we have the MLA hostel. You have this kind of a thing happening over food. And you can imagine what must be happening in rural areas of Maharashtra or, places where the law enforcement can't even reach. I'm just shocked.
It got caught on camera. Perhaps this action would have been done by the MLA in the past as well. It may not have been recorded, or similar actions in other parts. So thank you so much for joining us, Rohit Chandravarkar. And joining us now is Member of Parliament of the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction, Priyanka Chaturvedi. Ms. Chaturvedi, appreciate your time here on NDTV. Today, it is the case of Shinde-led Shiv Sena, where the party MLA Sanjay Gaikwad is at the center of a controversy. My question is that it's certainly running across parties, this kind of vandalism, perhaps a sense that they can get away with. Is there enough political will among parties, across parties, to condemn these actions?
No, actually, these are two different issues here. The person who is beating the canteen worker is an elected representative of Maharashtra. He's an MLA in the assembly who comes with a whole lot of responsibility, and that responsibility and the maturity should have come from him. And it's also different simply because Eknath Shinde's faction has been repeatedly indulging in this. If you remember, when Kunal Kamra, stand-up comedian, had made a joke, cracked a joke about Mr. Shinde, their entire set of people had gone and broken down that studio which was a means of livelihood for several people, several other stand-up comedians, and they did not just stop at that, they were felicitated as well. Did not stop at that, they moved a privilege motion in the assembly against the stand-up comedian. And today that privilege motion, yesterday it was cleared. So they have gone on a rampage, and even now we haven't heard a single word of condemnation coming from either the Chief Minister or the Deputy Chief Minister, who happens to be the President of this party. So clearly, I mean, when you are in government, there are some separate rules and some questions asked of the government. While if it was a member of the opposition, we would have breathless coverage as well as debates on that particular issue. So yes, when you ask me about political will, I think political will, especially with, brazenly going ahead with your power and power hunger, is pretty obvious that it is missing where accountability is concerned in this particular case.
But NDTV has been raising this issue since the morning as well, ever since that footage came out, ma'am. So my question then is, of course, about accountability mechanism. It will be different for those who are in power than those who are in opposition. But what is expected certainly of politicians is that when it is about hooliganism, when it is about them targeting innocent people on the streets, only because they may or may not know Marathi, how is this really assertion of cultural identity or linguistic identity?
So, Okay, one more thing which I did not differentiate between what happened with regards to this MLA vis-a-vis what happened with regards to a language issue. Firstly, it wasn't a language issue, it was an issue of disrespect. Out of 12 crore people in Maharashtra, over 1.5 crore come from other states. In this particular case, there was an incident which went out of hand, and there was a law and order mechanism which was followed. And these people were detained, and they were booked under some sections which were bailable, and they got the bail. So they followed the process because they had flouted the law and order situation in the state of Maharashtra. In this particular case, you will not even have an FIR against this man who is an elected representative. In this particular case, there will be no one to speak up against him. In this particular case, he will get away scot-free. So let's understand these issues here. An elected representative gets away by hitting the person violently, a worker violently, and he also goes on television channel to claim that what he did was the language he should have spoken as an MLA. Again, I've also given you a past history of what this party has done. In this particular case, yes, there was an issue with regards to disrespect to a language which is a classical language, disrespect to the state where they are making their money and they have got these opportunities, and it went out of hand, which was adhered. The cops managed to file an FIR and also went through the entire process of detaining them and releasing them. So I'm not trying to justify anything, I'm just trying to make you aware of the fact and the difference that we see in two such issues.
Is there some kind of quiet tolerance when it suits the narrative? Because if you look at it, Ms. Chaturvedi, there is this case of MNS and UBT now coming together. So they realize that when it is about emotive issues, this is one issue which can actually unite non-Marathis behind the Thakres.
No, again, the two brothers were on a stage for what purpose? They were on the stage for a purpose where the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Shah Sena, Amit Shah Sena, and the NCP Ajit Pawar had released a GR which was saying that Hindi as a third language would be compulsory from grade 1. The argument was that why should a language be made compulsory, and if Maharashtra is going to get Hindi as a compulsory third language, what are the states which are Hindi speaking have as their third language? And the Bharatiya Janata Party were pressurized not just by the political parties but also various people, various sections who were outraged about this. That imposing a language is not the right way of ensuring that people learn the language. Having said that, when the GR was taken back, that is when both brothers came on stage for that particular issue. And that particular issue has resonated across the length and breadth of the state. We are not against the language. Please understand, even I am Hindi speaking, not against the language. We have an entire Hindi film industry working out of Mumbai. We have an entire Hindi television industry working out of Mumbai. And like I quoted a figure, out of 12 crore people in the state of Maharashtra, over 1 crore come from various states which are Hindi speaking. Why is it that these one or two incidents vis-a-vis 1 crore people happily coexisting with the people of Maharashtra does not raise an eyebrow? So 1 or 2 incidents could also be due to a lot of provocation. Now please understand, even a BJP MP, sitting member of parliament from Jharkhand, is making extremely provocative statements about people of Maharashtra. And we've had a former MP of Bharatiya Janata Party who's also a very famous Bhojpuri actor who's again making provocative statements. So this hypocrisy that is coming from the BJP is something for them to address.
And your former MP calls, becomes a judge in his own party office after he summons 2 people and then allows 1 person to be slabbed.
Again, let me also tell you, because again there's a narrative which was spread with regards to Mr. Vichare was absolutely incorrect. The person, this was a fallout of a fight that had happened between the shopkeeper and a party worker. He was a Shiv Sena UBT party worker. He was violently hit just because he was asking for a prepaid mobile connection.
Yes.
An FIR was filed by a lady who protected him at that point of time. And Mr. Vichare had only called these people to the office to ask them why did they hit the party worker. And that is when it escalated. It had nothing to do with language.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with, trying to impose something. It was trying to reconcile 2 sections which were fighting. But it's just that unfortunately that all television channels portrayed it in such a manner that it was about the language. Please understand, Mr. Vichare and I have personally attended various events at Mr. Vichare's constituency, which has a large number of North Indian population. And I have attended those events and those rallies where he celebrates the diversity that is there in his particular constituency. So that is absolutely incorrect charge to make with regards to Mr. Vichare.
Okay.
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Fine Finer Finesta.
Some say sport is a matter of life and death. The truth is, it is far more serious than that. Sport is about ecstasy and agony, about pain and suffering, about joy and much more. Some say there's no one better to tell these stories. So here I am. Join me, Boria Majumdar, on India's #1 news network.
Pressure on the Indian Air Force to get fighters, forget about stealth aircraft. The Indian government has made it clear that we're going to bet on the AMCA, which is India's own fighter. But getting these 4.5 generation fighters like the Rafale, which you've already sunk an enormous amount of money into, even the Indian Navy has signed on for them recently, and there are still these delays. But with this announcement, Vishnu, and that's my next question now, I'm wondering whether this means that things are much clearer as far as the MRFA.
Good evening, welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. A report in the well-regarded aviation journal The Air Current says the ongoing investigation into the cause of the June 12th crash of Air India flight AI-171 has narrowed its focus to the movement of the engine fuel control switches. The article, which attributes its information to multiple people with knowledge of the investigation, comes in a week when India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Board is expected to make public the preliminary report of its AI-171 investigation. What new details does the report throw up, and what have we learned? That's coming up on this program. And we've got a great guest with us, Patrick Smith, airline pilot and the host of AskThePilot.com. But next on the program, as every day passes and with every new